When it comes to how Lindsay came up with the idea for Dexter and his character, it all began when Lindsay was asked to speak at a business meeting in his hometown of Miami, Florida. Specifically speaking on how the creative arts are important, and how crucial it is to read actual books from time to time. However, as he was looking out into the audience, he was entranced by how fake these businessmen were acting. Smiling when they didn't mean it, making sure to hand out all their business cards, lying to each other, chewing with their mouths full, etc. And while in this trance, a thought abruptly popped into his head, that maybe serial murder wasn't always a bad thing. Not exactly that he wanted to kill all these people himself, but the more he thought about it, the more he could find a way to justify it. Throughout the rest of the meeting, he proceeded to take notes of these justifications on the back of napkins, and by the time he went home, he already had the basis for the first book, and the initial idea for Dexter's character. His overall goal with Dexter as a character was to make a sociopath as likable, funny, and charming as possible. Because ultimately, while Dexter commits these heinous murders, he wants the reader to find themselves siding with Dexter and his code. Because, for example, if Dexter is killing someone who disembodies children, he wants the reader to initially agree that that person definitely deserves to die. But at the same time they catch themselves siding with Dexter, he also wants them to have that realization that even if the person Dexter's killing might deserve it, they're still siding with a killer themselves, creating an interesting philosophical and moral debate within their heads as they read further, essentially creating the ultimate anti-hero and a sympathetic villain simultaneously. In the process of creating Dexter, Lindsay had to do a lot of research on sociopaths, serial killers, and the like. At first, he would consult experts on if a sociopath would do this or act like this, and it got to a point where Lindsay was writing exactly how a sociopath would act on instinct, which admittedly creeped him out a little bit. Before naming the first book Darkly Dreaming Dexter, he instead wanted to call it Pinocchio Bleeds, which was a title suggested by one of his daughters, and he absolutely loved the idea. His publisher disagreed. And when deciding on the name Dexter for the titular character,
Hello, Dexter Morgan.
He chose it because in Latin, left is sinister and right is Dexter, essentially meaning that Dexter was the opposite of sinister, symbolizing the character's normality on the surface, but darkness within. Lindsay additionally wanted to title the first book The Left Hand of God, to further play on this Latin inspiration, but his editor hated that name too.